Hey guys, so today I'm going to be doing a bit of a discussion, rant, suggestion to Konami type thing that they need to do. It's something that's always kind of bothered me, and with Nats coming up and me talking to a lot of the players at my locals while we prepare for this, Louisiana bugs by the way, they like to interrupt my videos. Anyways, so the thing I'm going to be talking about today is how rulings and sort of like judge assistance is really inconsistent. It's kind of disjointed. So what I mean by that is, like, sometimes you go to a regional and you hear a specific ruling from a judge. Like, a judge will rule that this works this way or this works that way, and then you go to a different regional and you get a different ruling about the same scenario, and it's from a different judge, and you don't really know what to go by. And it's always kind of been a bit of an issue because what I've noticed with Yu-Gi-Oh! Is there isn't, hate you bugs, there isn't really like a source to find any of these rulings. Like I remember we used to have netrep.net, but that got shut down or whatever. It's not updated anymore. And I know that there is an official judge forum, but the public doesn't have access to that, so we don't have access to rulings. I even remember that there was a time when Konami, when new sets released, they would release rulings for each of the cards, like before the sneak peek, because the sneak peek would happen and people would need to know this stuff. So, but they stopped that as well. And the problem that I'm seeing is, ignore the dog. The problem that I'm seeing is, like, there's nowhere to go for rulings anymore. And it gets to the point where you go to these regionals and you just have to trust what the judge says. And you don't really want to just, trust what the judge says. You don't want inconsistencies. You want bad. You don't want inconsistencies. Bad. Bad. You don't want inconsistencies in rulings because, it makes it hard to prepare for events. Like, I was talking with Mason and Jared, just two people from our locals, about this yesterday, and we were like, it was something that had to do with like some spellbook ruling, and one person said, Jared said he'd heard something because he goes to Texas, like for his locals, and then Mason had heard something else at a regional, and it's really like confusing. And I just think that that's something that Konami could easily solve by having a public ruling source, and really maybe just a public player forum. Like, I also, a big problem I have now is when you need to know when you need to know a ruling, there's nowhere to ask. Like, even if you know sort of where to look, there's never really anywhere to ask. Like, you can ask on Pojo and hope that maybe one of the well-known judges on there will help you, but that doesn't always work. And then there's like a Facebook group, there's adjudication, whatever it's called, with the judges. It's got Julia, but it's hard to really like cite a Facebook group as a source. I think that there's even a disclaimer that group doesn't really have like official rulings. It's just a place to discuss and get opinions from other judges. And see, that's a bad idea, because if this game, considering how big this game is, considering how big this game is, I said no. Considering how big this game is, I'm sorry you guys, this is a crazy video, but considering how big this game is, there needs to be a better source for this kind of stuff. Like, you don't need to have to jump through hoops to find somewhat like unofficial rulings. Yu-Gi-Oh! Wikia, we all know it's correct for old cards, but then these new cards, it just gets worse. And the fact of the matter is, Konami continues to make these cards like interact in more different ways. It's almost like there's like a new phase for some of this stuff, where you just don't know how this stuff activates. Some stuff targets, some stuff doesn't. Some stuff's a monster effect, some stuff's not. You can't always tell. It's really crazy. And so I just think they're growling dogs. Just ignore them. They're bad. But just, I think that there's something Konami needs to cure. Like, I feel like like it's an RPG. I think it's a problem Konami needs to really like address. There needs to be a forum, there needs to be a website, there needs to be just some updated source of rulings, because as competitive as the game is, all the events you go to, for there not to be a source to find official rulings and card interactions is really kind of a big weakness. So I think that's something that Konami needs to handle soon, and I want to know what you guys think of this. Like, do you guys think that this is something, of course it's an issue, but how are you guys with rulings? Like, especially at your locals, since this varies by locals, like, do you have you know, a local judge who's really knowledgeable. Where does he get his rulings from, and what do you do when you don't really trust one of his rulings, you know, or you question them? Like, where do you go to look up your stuff? And I want to know that because I want to know how it works. Like in my local specifically, we're kind of laid back and it's not like terribly competitive, so usually ruling discrepancies, it just, you know, people trust the word of the judge. But I want to know, I'm sure at larger locals that it might be more of an issue, so let me know what, you know, how you guys deal with that, what your thoughts are on Konami's process of handling rulings, and just leave a comment with that and like how you think that maybe that could improve, because I feel like it's an issue. So yeah, this wasn't much of a rant because I wasn't angry per se. It's just a thing that I think needs to be addressed, and I felt like with nationals coming up, it's kind of a relevant topic. So hope you enjoyed this video. Remember to thumbs up, leave a comment, and share with your friends maybe. Subscribe to my channel if you like this kind of stuff and want more videos like this. And that concludes this. Thanks for watching again, and I'll talk to you guys later.